Hi, my name is Sophie Carter, and this is my story. It's hard to even begin. I've never really told anyone everything. Not like this. But maybe it's time. I'm 29 now. I live alone in a small apartment in Portland, Oregon. The air smells like rain most days, and the city feels quiet. Too quiet sometimes. I used to love silence. Now it reminds me of what I lost. I met Jason when I was 23. He worked at the bookstore where I used to go every Sunday. I was shy. He was charming. He smiled like he knew something funny all the time. And I fell for him. Fast. We talked about books, music, dreams. He told me he wanted to travel. I told him I was scared of planes. He laughed and said he'd hold my hand. And he did. For 6 years. Our apartment had yellow walls and a little window in the kitchen. I painted those walls myself. Jason said they made the place feel warm, like sunshine. I believed him. He made coffee every morning. I made toast. He kissed my forehead when he left for work. I waited for the sound of the door. It all felt simple, safe. I thought we were happy. But then, something changed. It started with small things. He came home late. He smiled less. He stopped asking how my day was. I asked him if something was wrong. He said, "No, just tired." I believed him because that's what love does. It believes. Then one night, he forgot his phone on the couch. He was in the shower. I know, I shouldn't have looked, but something inside me said, "Sophie, something is wrong." And I was right. There were messages from a girl named Brianna. I didn't know her. I didn't want to. They were not friendly, not work talk. They were messages full of love words, late night talks, hidden plans, things that should have been between us. I sat there on that stupid yellow couch, shaking. The world felt like it cracked open. When he came out of the shower, he saw my face. He didn't say anything, just sat down. I remember the way he looked at the floor, like a little boy who broke something. I asked, "Who is she?" He said nothing. That silence hurt more than any word. The next day he left, just like that. He packed a bag and said, "I'm sorry, Sophie. I didn't mean to hurt you." Didn't mean to? I gave him everything. My heart, my time, my trust. And he gave it to someone else. I remember sitting by the window after he left. The city lights outside looked blurry through my tears. Betrayal. That word never meant much to me before, but now it lives in my bones. I stopped eating much. I stopped smiling. I even stopped talking to my best friend Lena. She called, messaged, came by, but I couldn't face anyone. I felt embarrassed. Like I was stupid, like everyone could see that I wasn't enough. One night, I stood in the kitchen holding a cup of tea. The cup shook in my hands. I looked around and thought, is this it now? Just me and empty yellow walls? I wanted to scream. But instead, I sat down, opened my laptop, and typed, "How to heal after betrayal." That's when something small changed. I found a video, a woman talking about her story. She said, "I felt broken, but I found my voice again through English." It was strange. But her words felt close, like she understood. And her voice, slow, soft, careful, helped me listen. I clicked on another video, then another. I started watching English stories, listening to women talk about pain, strength, healing. And slowly, I started learning too. Not just English, but how to feel again. I told myself 1 video a day. That became 3. Then I got a little notebook. I started writing down simple words. Hurt, trust, heal, hope. My words, my feelings, my lessons. I was learning English, yes, but I was also learning how to breathe again. Lena came over one Sunday. I was surprised I let her in. She looked at me and said, "Sophie, it's so good to hear your voice." I smiled a little, just a small one. I said, "I'm trying." And I meant it. There were days I still cried, nights when I missed him even though I shouldn't. My heart was still confused. Sometimes I would whisper his name in the dark and feel ashamed. But I was learning. I watched a video about forgiveness. A woman said, "Forgiveness is not about them, it's about freeing yourself." That stuck with me. Maybe I didn't forgive Jason right away. Maybe I still haven't. But I started thinking, maybe I could forgive myself. For trusting, for loving, for hoping. One day I looked in the mirror. Really looked. And I said, "You're not broken, Sophie, you're just healing." Learning English gave me a rhythm, a reason to wake up, a reason to listen. It gave my heart words. And slowly my heart stopped whispering, "Why me?" and started saying, "What now?" One rainy afternoon, I walked into a small cafe near my street. I brought my notebook. Ordered tea. The woman behind the counter smiled and said, "Studying?" I said, "Yes, English and life." She laughed, a warm laugh, and that day I didn't feel so alone. The pain didn't leave in a day, or a week, or even a month. But I was changing. Inside. Now, I know this story isn't over. There's more to tell. But for now, I want you to know, even when someone breaks your heart, you can still find your way back. Sometimes you just need a voice, a story, a small word like hope. So, where was I? Right. The cafe, the tea, that tiny smile from a stranger. It felt like something small but real, like a light turning on inside a very dark room. After that day, I started going to the cafe every week. Same table, same tea, same notebook. The owner's name was Marisol. She was from Mexico. Her English wasn't perfect, and neither was mine, but we laughed, we tried, we understood each other. Funny, right? 2 women, 2 broken hearts, 2 languages, 1 small table. Sometimes we'd write new words together. She'd teach me how to say beautiful in Spanish, and I'd tell her how I spelled strong in English. It became healing. Not fast, not easy, but real. One day I asked her, "Have you ever been hurt by someone you loved?" She looked down, then up. Her eyes were soft. She said, "Yes," and I thought it would kill me. That silence between us, it was louder than any scream. But then she smiled and said, "But I'm still here." And I whispered, "Me too." After that, I stopped hiding my feelings. I started writing them down more often. My English notebook wasn't just about grammar now. It was full of feelings. Today I felt strong. I miss him, but I miss me more. Trust is hard, but I want to try again. Sometimes I still cried at night. I'd hold a pillow and remember the way Jason used to say, "Good night," like a song, and it still hurt. But the pain changed. It wasn't sharp anymore. It was dull, quiet, like an old bruise that doesn't scream when you touch it. Just whispers. I joined an online English class. The teacher, Miss Hall, was kind. Her voice was warm, like a hug. She once said, "Learning a new language means learning a new part of yourself." That hit me deep. Maybe that's what I was doing all along, learning English, learning Sophie. One day during class, Miss Hall asked me to read a sentence out loud. I panicked. My hands shook. But I did it. I read, "Sometimes strong people cry too." I looked at the screen, and she said, "Beautifully read, Sophie." No one had called me beautiful in months, maybe years. I didn't cry in class, but I cried later. Happy tears. That weekend, I visited Lena. She opened the door and gasped. "You're glowing," she said. I laughed and told her, "It's just coffee and English." She pulled me in for a hug, a real one, the kind that says, "I missed you." We talked for hours about Jason, about pain, about books, boys, and broken dreams. And she said something I'll never forget. "You didn't lose him, Sophie. You found you." One evening, I got a message. It was from Jason. Yeah. He said he was sorry, that he missed me, that things didn't work out with Brianna, that he wanted to talk. My heart, it went quiet. Not angry, not hopeful, just still. I didn't reply. Not because I hated him, but because I had nothing left to say. I had forgiven. Not for him, but for me. He was my chapter, but not my book. The next day, I stood by my window again. Same place, same view, but a different woman. I whispered, "Thank you for breaking me." Because sometimes breaking is how light gets in. I made a video that night, my first one, in English. I said, "Hi, my name is Sophie. I was betrayed. I cried, I broke, but I also learned. I learned English. I learned hope. And I learned me." I posted it, not to be famous, but to tell someone out there, you're not alone. A week later, I got a message. It said, "Your story helped me. I was crying, but now I feel stronger. Thank you." Her name was Farah, from Turkey. We became friends. She was learning English too, and healing. And now, here I am, still learning, still growing, still healing. If you're reading this, or listening, and your heart is heavy, I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are becoming. Even if someone betrayed you, you can build again. Even if you feel lost, you can start small. A word, a sentence, a voice, yours. Because healing doesn't always come in loud ways. Sometimes it comes in whispers, in notebooks, in new words, in soft mornings, in broken hearts that keep beating. Like mine, like yours. If you feel hurt by someone, don't rush to feel okay. Cry, rest, breathe, then try. Learn something, even one word a day. English, cooking, painting, anything. Talk to people, or write like I did. And please remember, your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Did this story touch your heart? Leave a comment and share your story, even just one sentence. Subscribe to the channel for more real English learning stories. And remember, every word you learn is one step closer to finding you again. Thank you for listening to me. See you in this next video.